If 1984 laid the foundation, 1985 is when rap stopped asking for permission. As a matter of fact, 1985 is when hip-hop realized how big it was about to become. This is the year artists got louder, bolder, more aggressive. The beats hit harder, the lyrics got sharper, and hip-hop started pushing past the party into power. Welcome back to Classic Flow, the mix, the culture, the movement.
Represent the Yay area.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? I'm DJ Ron. I'm the classic DJ from the Bay. And today, we're stepping into 1985. This is the year where rap music didn't just entertain, it challenged, it traveled, and it took risks. And the West began. Now, when I say the West began, I'm not saying that we didn't respect New York and, the pioneers and all that. And we even had some here on the West Coast, like Egyptian Lover or Uncle Jam's Army. The West was already moving, but 1985 is when we see that movement start shifting from electro and singles into the broader rap conversation. You know what I mean? Before we get into this conversation, though, you know how I do. Classic flow and proof style, like we always do around this time. Got to shout out to recent subscribers, to Kara Miles at Kara Miles EM9JU. Also, shout out to Margar at Chief White Owl 2471. And then shout out to Jax Boogie at Jax Boogie. I sent y'all a subscription. Appreciate y'all rocking with DJ Ron, the classic DJ from the Bay. And also to my supportive subscriber. Gotta say what's up to JR. That's JAYARE 6592. So look, as I said, you have to like, you have to comment, you have to subscribe. I want to see your name up in lights as well. You know what I mean? But from Battle Records to Street Reports, from New York to Philly to LA, 1985 gave us albums and songs that still ring off in DJ sets today. So let's get into it. Not in release order, not in a hype order, nothing like that, but we're just going to talk about the cultural impact and the staying power. That's what these records are, you know what I mean? The top albums in 1985. This is a mixed order and it's done on purpose. Don't trip. But these are the top albums. LL Cool J Radio. When Radio dropped, it didn't sound like anything else. This was minimal. It was raw. It was aggressive. And it sounded personal. It seemed like it was personal, at least from LL's perspective. The album proved, though, that one MC, one mic, and heartbeats could still rock a room. And the key record to that on that album is I Can't Live Without My Radio. This wasn't just a song. This was a DJ-MC relationship and anthem. And, it was a soundtrack for my life because as an only child, all I had was my radio. So I definitely could appreciate LL on that one. We also had in 1985, we had Run DMC, the King of Rock album. This album was rap saying we belong everywhere. From rock influence to pure street energy, King of Rock kicked doors open. You know what I mean? The key record on there is King of Rock, BW With You Talk Too Much. Both songs have videos, dope albums. Here's a dark horse though that a lot of y'all don't like, especially if you're not in the Bay Area. Too Short. Don't Stop Rapping. While the East Coast was battling and rocking stages, the West Coast was talking slick and telling stories. You know what I mean? Too Short gave us a different voice. He was raw, he was local, and he was unapologetic with it. You know what I mean? The album was a seed record for West Coast independent hustle, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit. As you heard me before, I mentioned Schoolie D. And if you want to talk about street rap, this is one of the earliest blueprints. Schoolie D by Schoolie D. Schoolie D he wasn't polished per se, but he was direct, and that mattered. This album influenced an entire lane that would explode later. Oh, now, this next group, let me sip some tea on this one right here. It's one of those forgotten pioneers, you know what I mean? But UTFO. They gave us performances, they gave us rap, they had personality and pure crowd control. This wasn't just music, this was showmanship. And one record in particular changed everything. Once again, we're about to talk about that in just a minute. As a matter of fact, this would be the perfect time to segue into the top songs of 1985. As we did before, 1984 with Jam On It taking the first trophy. There's more songs, obviously, because there's more music out in 1985. You know what I mean? So let's talk about the songs because 1985 had records that still light up the dance floor. First of all, you had Rapping Duke by Sean Brown. Now, I know what you're thinking. It don't rock the dance floor or whatnot. You don't really dance to it, but I digress. I think if we play just a little bit of it, it would rock the dance floor. Not only that, Sean Brown had it, and then the next year, Too Short reused the beat again for Short Side, a Bay Area classic. I can't tell you how many Mustangs.
Short Side. Too short, you ain't nothing but a side buster. Well, it's true, homeboy. I can't lie. I got a brand new rap, and I call it Short Side. You just don't know. You're so near. Guess what, baby boy? You get to hear Short.
I can't tell you how many Mustangs will drive up and down the strip listening to that. But we're going to talk about Too Short in just a moment. Let's get back to Sean Brown. This is who Biggie was talking about. A lot of people don't realize this, but when Biggie say, remember Rapping Duke.
Remember Rapping Duke? The hard. You never thought that hip hop would take it this far.
The hard. This is who he was talking about. Sean Brown, he was a one-hit wonder. It was a gimmick record, but you know what? Important nevertheless. You know what I mean? Who would have thought hip-hop would take it this far? You know what I'm saying? Next is Insurgent. It's another forgotten record, but this is by the Wrecking Crew, featuring a DJ that you might have heard of by the name of Dr. Dre. Yes, Dr. Dre was actually a DJ, not just a producer, and he was one of the best DJs back then, just like he's one of the best producers now. You know what I mean? In Surgery showed skills. It was gimmicky to the point of his name, Dr. Dre, so therefore you had his surgery, and when the song came on, you heard him say, records, mixer, turntables, speakers, just like a surgeon would do, right? Asking for the scalpel, asking for whatever surgeons ask for. I haven't been under there, not woke anyway. I think I might have a surgery, but that's beside the point. The thing about it was the beat was slapping. Yellow Boy and them on the rap, they were saying something. They was paying homage to Dr. Dre, and some of the freshest scratches that you ever want to hear. You know what I mean? A popular scratch in that time, but hey, it was Dr. Dre doing it his way. All right. This next single is one that when people hear it, they love it. But look, I got to include it. Run DMC, Together Forever. First of all, it's the first single I ever brought. You know what I mean? I remember buying that single, and I brought LL Cool J's radio album. Like I mentioned before, I bought it that same day. I brought the album LL Cool J. That's what I was going there for. And I had a little money left over. Jones & Harris Records. Shout out Real Richmond, Jones & Harris. And I had a little money left over. So why not? Let me go and get this 45, Run DMC, Together Forever. But let me tell you something. This is the first song that you hear with a deep bass 808 kick. Where it wasn't just boom, boom, like you heard on Sexual Healing, like you heard on 5 Minutes of Funk, like you heard on Friends. And if you know those songs and you haven't seen 1984, I implore you, first of all, go back and look at 1984, then come back to this one and you'll be caught up to speed. But in 1985, the bass got deeper and the song was slapping. I mean, it was just slapping. You know what I'm saying? It captured the raw, minimalist energy that defined early Run DMC. It was built on hard drums, like I said, and commanding vocals with a reverb and an echo, which made it dope. So every time they finished a line, you would hear the echo. You know what I mean? Dope. And here's another caveat that a lot of people don't realize. The song sounds like it's live, but it actually was piped in crowd noise to make it seem like it was live. But it was called Crush Groove 4. And understand this, it wasn't about the polish. It was all about the unity. It was about the momentum, and it was about the presence. It reinforced Run DMC's role as leaders, pushing hip hop forward as a collective force. They were groundbreaking in so many different ways. The song is labeled a Crush Groove because not only was it loosely tied to the film Crush Groove, which also came out in 1985, and that's a semi-fictional movie inspired by the rise of Def Jam and early hip-hop culture. But the Crush Groove name was also a part of the soundtrack branding, linking the music directly to a team of producers who also contributed to the King of Rock album that also came out that year. All right? This is called Orange Crush. You heard him on Shuck MC's Orange Crush Got Amazing Me. So Larry put me inside the Cadillac. Larry Love was one of the producers from that group. Larry Smith is, and shout out real fast. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. If you didn't hear it before, his name was all over 1984. Producer of the year, DJ Producer of the Year goes out to Larry Smith. The man deserves a spot in the Rap Hall of Fame, on the Walk of Fame and everything else. Dude is a super producer. Again, go back and listen to 1984. You hear music produced by him. And this is another one of those songs, right? But again, Soldiers of 45, Together Forever, though, it wasn't just a record. It was part of hip-hop announcing itself to the world. My favorite, that's my favorite song, probably that year that came out by Run DMC. It's one of my favorite songs all time by Run DMC. If you can't tell by now, the 84 and 85, I am a Run DMC fan. Like, they're my favorite rap group of all time. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it as the series goes on. But then, it wasn't just about rap, though. It wasn't just about gimmicks and everything. It was also about the ladies. Fly Girl by Boogie Boys is a song that, let me be honest, when I was in 7th grade, I lost my virginity. I was at Adams Junior High School in the Richmond Unified School District. Richmond, California is where I'm from, the Bay Area, California. We had the best views of the Bay from there. And needless to say, my eyes was open. I was looking at Guess jeans, heart-shaped behinds and all that kind of stuff and everything else. And it was just like a whole other world. But the song itself,
one day you're gonna be at the top of the world, and I'ma be on your back, fly girl.
although it's dope, I love the song to this now, but I guess I didn't really relate back then. You know what I mean? It wasn't about me going after the girls. It was about the girls coming after me. At least that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? So Fly Girl, though, is a pure movement record, and it's a classic. You know what I'm saying? It just is. Shout out to the Boogie Boys. If they didn't do another song, they did that one. All right? But speaking of the ladies, you can't talk about 1985. You can't talk about the ladies without talking about Roxanne by UTFO. Man, these three brothers, they had the battle rap energy before battle rap even had a name as far as the battle of the sexes go. You know what I mean? So by them having a real Roxanne, as she called herself, that was just brilliant as far as a concept, a dope song, and then keeping a little series going, which all of a sudden we had Roxanne's popping up all over the place. Shout out Roxanne Shante, who stood tall above it all. You know what I mean? Roxanne Shante, her pen and her mic, she could knock out a whole bunch of female and male rappers. You know what I mean? She's one of my favorite females of all time. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Roxanne Shante, shout out to UTFO, and shout out to the real Roxanne. I'm going to talk about that UTFO album in a minute because it's actually a candidate for Album of the Year. But then the music got a little more serious. You know, we had already been used to the message and, and Planet Rock songs like that. So in comes Curtis Blow with If I Ruled the World. Another classic featured on the soundtrack for Crush Groove. You know what I mean? Kurt just did his thing on this one right here. Just talking about how times was, you know what I mean? The problems with, that time. But then on the flip side, he came back and he had a solution and everything, talking about what he would do, how he would fix everything. You know what I mean? Go listen to it for yourself. You see why Nas had to remake it and bring it back again in like 1994, 95 and whatnot. Nas was good. I like Kurt a little bit better, but I'll be honest, I listened to Nas more, but Kurt was no joke, though. Shout out to Kurt. Just Nas had a nice follow-up, had a great remake, and I'm a firm believer that if you're going to remake a song, you got to make it as good, if not better. And I'm going to say it was as good, but I think Kurt's may still be better, pound for pound, all the way through. So shout out to Curtis Blow. It was a vision before vision was even common. You understand what I'm saying? Next song, though, this next song, speaking of a vision, speaking of what was going on, and when I say the West begun, because the New York, they had their stories, they had their tales and everything. And here come a little rapper out of LA by the name of Toddy T. And he had the song Battle Round. Now, Battle Round by Toddy T is one of the earliest records to announce Los Angeles rap on its own terms. Not that we're trying to make dancing music like Egyptian Lover, even the Wrecking Crew, and LA Dream Team. But this song is built around a real LA experience. Police used a battle round to raid houses during the height of the drug war, or the war on drugs that they call it, you know what I mean? Over a sparse West Coast electro-funk beat with a bass line that just wouldn't quit, you know what I mean? Toddy T narrates the scene almost like a street rapper. Sirens, tension, fear, inevitability. You know what I mean? There's no glamorizing. It's just an observation. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, he talked about how he was legit. You know what I mean? He had undercover cops coming to his house or whatnot, you know.
Well, I know to you we all look the same, but I'm not the one slinging cane. I work 9 to 5 and ain't a damn thing changed, and I don't have time for the hustler game.
Whatnot, you know. And I guess that's just the way it was in LA. Shout out to my homeboy Disco Alamo, who made a version for the Bay Area, talking about the task force, you know what I mean? Go check out Disco Alamo and Task Force. You'll check out, you'll see what I'm talking about. Same concept, same message, different territory though. You know what I mean? We're in the North Bay. You know, that's we're in the North California rather. That's SoCal. You know what I mean? LA. But here's the thing about it though. This is why battle rap was important. It wasn't just the subject matter. It was the point of view. This wasn't New York park jams or party rhymes. This was a LA reality. Police presence as a constant. Neighborhoods under surveillance. Young black men experiencing law enforcement as force, not protection. So when by the time we got to NWA and F the Police, you know, that was just the overflowing from the stuff that Tiny T observed. And doing that observation, Tiny T helped introduce West Coast rap as regional storytelling, rap as a lens on local policy, policing, and street life, and a tone that would later evolve into gangster rap without yet being exaggerated or sensational. It was a bridge between Egyptian Lover, Egypt, and the gangster rap LA got famous for. Even with all that, it's the runner-up for Song of the Year. The Show / Lottie Dottie by Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. I had to mention both of them because they came on a 12-inch cut together, you know what I mean? And both the songs still work today. You'll sing along, you'll get them on the dance floor and everything else. Period. What more can I say? Truth be told, though, these records weren't trends per se. They were tools for DJs, for MCs, and also for the culture. So when people ask, why does 1985 matter? This is why. Because this is the year rap stopped sounding like one thing and started becoming everything. And we were just getting started. Houdini did not have, let me just drop this because I got to revisit 1984. Houdini did not have an album in 1985. They were still rolling off the success of 1984. But the Fat Boys were there, and the Fat Boys come out with Fat Boys Are Back. They returned, but they failed to becoming victims of a recurring theme, using the same formulas on your next album, and it worked for some of them, but for the Fat Boys, they kind of reduced themselves to comedians with gimmicks, although they broke ground with hardcore reggae, you know what I mean? I thought they broke ground with hardcore reggae. Let me rephrase that. But we're going to talk about why it wasn't. But if you Google it, you're going to see Fat Boys listed as the first rap group to have a reggae track on their album. It was a cool song, you know what I mean? Even had a video for it. And then it came hard on the title track, Fat Boys Are Back, you know what I mean? They was talking they talk, you know what I mean? And everything else. And then last but not least, they had one of my favorite songs by the Fat Boys called Pump It Up. Also heard in Crush Groove, when they won the contest in Crush Groove, they sung the song. It was called Disco 3, but they sung the song Pump It Up. Actually, they didn't win the contest. They got continued in contest when they sung this song, and then they came back as reinvented as the Fat Boys. Pump It Up, though, is one of the best songs in their arsenal, in their catalog. Let's go ahead and get into the next album. First off, Leader of the Pack is an ode to their DJ that is yet to be surpassed, trading lyrics like their rap forefathers Furious 5 and them and Run DMC. But their lyrics were on point as they showcased their individual styles and skills. For instance, Dr. Ice, so debonair, you could tell that I'm a doctor about to close it up with, which probably wasn't barred up because it was more of a gimmick thing, so to speak, yet he stood on it. And then educated rapper starts his verse.
Beware the fury of indigenous man. I'll discombobulate any rapper I can.
And then he continues by saying, most of you are quantitative. What I just said, you know what I mean? Just, yeah. They lived up to their names. They had their names and they lived up to them. The next song, Bite It, it just says that they know that their rhymes are good. You know what I mean? So good, they so delicious that you can go ahead and bite it. You know what I mean? And bite the rhyme back then was considered a crime to borrow a line from one of my favorite rappers from back in the day. You know what I mean? And it was. But they said, you know what? You can bite these lyrics. They so good. that people ain't gonna remind you saying them over again. You know what I mean? Go ahead, add this to your arsenal. You know what I'm saying? And watch what happens. Too many rappers are doing that nowadays, but back then, it was against the rap law. You understand what I'm saying? Next song, Calling Her Crab. It's just insults on top of insults, but placement in the album is questionable. You know what I mean? As far as the songs, Roxanne hadn't come on yet, but yeah, you got this song where they talking about Roxanne again, and they're going in on her, not just her, but on her parents and everything else. Now, I'm about to talk about the original song in just a minute, but understand this. It's an album and mixtapes that, let me understand this, from a producer's perspective, from a DJ's perspective as a producer, an album and mixtapes for that matter should flow seamlessly like a movie. That's why I said this song was out of place. It should have had the song Roxanne first. It should have had her version next, and then it should have came back with it. So, but he said something about on the song Roxanne, you know, Kango actually came tight. He's like, I ain't committing suicide for no crap, which gives us the sample that was mentioned on the other song, you know, Calling Her Crab. That's where they got it from. You know what I mean? And he's saying, basically, it was just a figure of speech. You know what I'm saying? She's an apple, a pear, a plum, and a peach. But on the first one, they just like scratched that in, you know, Call Her a Crab. That was just the hook of the song. You know what I'm saying? The real Roxanne, you know, she said stuff like, you know, she went on in on each of them. You know what I'm saying? But to me, she went the hardest when she told about
I know how you operate from the start. You like to break dance and you like to break hearts.
That was a bar, you know what I mean? But really the whole song was barred up. I don't know who wrote her lyrics, but she came tight. The thing about it was, I feel like somebody else wrote it because she couldn't stay consistent. She couldn't drop no more music. She had albums, she had singles, she had videos. Nobody was tripping off of her though. You know what I'm saying? But last but not least, Lisa Lips. This is a song about when you meet a girl who has a rep and your friend tries to tell you, warn you about her, but you proceed all gas, no brakes, and you have to deal with the consequences. You know what I mean? So that was it. UTFO, they definitely was a force to be reckoned with. They are runners up for the album of the year, but obviously they didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta give them a mention. Let's call it an honorable mention. All right. Next album, it's the album of the year. No, this is not the album of the year. And it's going to break some of y'all's hearts, I know, but it's Run DMC, King of the Rock. Don't be mad at me. I told y'all Run DMC is my favorite group of all time. This album right here, they was on the cusp though. They was on their way up, but it is probably a little bit better than their first album. Just a little bit better, or it was right on course with their first album, which, remember, I said it was 1B. I said Houdini had a great album, and Run DMC had a great album, and both of them albums was neck and neck for album of the year, 1984. You feel me? So this one right here, we're still on course with it, but some of the music just got better. You know what I'm saying? For one, and a problem with this album is that it had 3 skippable songs. I'm gonna talk about them in just a minute, but the first song is one of those songs though. Rock the House is just ad-libs over break beats. You know what I mean? It's like Jam Master Jay just playing a break beat and he just mixes some stuff in. Where you hear excerpts from King of Rock, and it actually prepared you for King of Rock. So the song was a good listen, but unfortunately, this is the reason why the album was not higher up on the list. It's classic, true, but a little too much filler on this one. It's more filler than substance. And when I say audio filler is when you have a quota of songs that need to be on the album, and you have, let's say it's 10 songs you want for the album, right? Producers, you know, A&R, they say you need 10 songs for your album. You got 6 quality songs, and you need 4 more to make it a complete album. You'll be surprised how many rappers have filler songs. You'll be surprised how many rappers have many great albums that have filler songs on them that became classics, though. Slick Rick's Teacher, and DMX's Stop Being Greedy come to mind. Filler, you know what I mean? But they filled in, and some of the best music. So I'm not saying that's what happened here, because this is probably the only filler song, but it has like 2 or 3 more skips on this album, as I mentioned before, that take away from an otherwise classic album. That brings us to the next song. King of Rock is the song, though. If Rockbox rang the doorbell, King of the Rock kicked the door in with mixed flow, so down pat that it took an extra ear as well as a memory to be able to sing along without mixing running D's verse up. Starting with the intro, it was a badge of honor to be able to just do D's part. And if you were good and you had someone that could memorize and rap along his run, and it's just not the intro. That's the thing about it, though. See, the intro was them trading off their rhymes, but the whole song they did. You understand what I'm saying? So to have them do that, phenomenal. Crazy work. You understand what I'm saying? But then the video, they were prophetic with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, get this. How were they trying to get into a rock and roll Hall of Fame or rock and roll museum that didn't even exist? Pioneers in every sense of the word, these brothers blazed the trail. The rhymes we say should set a trend because a devastating rap is what we say. They was just on their game though with this one right here. And you know, they came through. To the next song, You Talk Too Much. One of the aforementioned songs that I usually skip, that, you know, it's not that it wasn't dope, but it had its place and it's good for, you know, for like high school parties, you know, or maybe an 80s party. Not that I played it, but that's according to my mentor. Shout out to DJ Will and Thrill, telling me that my age group was having fun singing along and everything else. So I'll find out at the next class reunion. You know what I mean? But that was that song. Jam Master Jammin' is a cool song as well. Another skippable song, though. You know, it's better for a concert to sing along with and you watch Jam Master Jay doing his thing or something like that. But it wasn't for riding down the strip. You know what I mean? But again, shout out to Jam Master Jay, the greatest DJ of the USFA. Man, I pray he's resting in peace. You know what I'm saying? The next song, though, Roots Rap Reggae, was dope. And since, according to Google, it came out, this whole album came out January 1st, 1985, and the Fat Boys dropped Hardcore Reggae in June of 85, we have to give Run DMC the credit for being the first to have a reggae song on an album. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, again, if you Google it, it's going to say something different. If you Google who had the first rap song, or first reggae song on a rap album, it's going to say Fat Boys. But take it from DJ the classic DJ from the Bay. Run DMC dropped in January of 1985. Fat Boys dropped in June of 1985. Title goes to Run DMC. Now we get to side 2. Fire, Fire, Fire. 3 of the 4 songs out of there, they was hot, to say the least. Can You Rock It Like This was written by J.T. Smith. Now, I'm going to tell you the comment in the bottom if you know who that is. Only God knows why he didn't save it for his own album, but it absolutely had to be done by 2 rappers and not one. That could be the reason why he didn't do it. But let me tell you something. I guess Run DMC and the producer crew and everything, they learned from their first album, because on their first album, they had 1. On this, they had 3 songs with that loud, raw rock guitar. And it worked. Shout out to Rick Rubin for starting the trend that had all the major rappers with at least 1 rock song, too. You know what I mean? Can't take it away from me. The whole meaning of the song seems to be dealing with stardom and all the traps and trappings that come along with it.
Complaining for a casual life, something normal, nothing formal, 3 kids and a wife.
And the question is, can you rock it like this? I can rock it like that. In other words, it's a call and response that could be translated as, can you dig this? Yeah, I can dig that. You know what I mean? Or if it was a 90s, you'd be like, can you get with this? Yeah, I can get with that. It's the first song I thought about when Jay-Z dropped his song. There's so many pros in here. He don't use the word pro, you know, he uses the HOE word, but you know. The song where he said, I ain't trying to be rude, dude, but there's so many pros in here. It's the same concept. Run talking about
stepping on my heels, you're breathing down my neck. I'm not Rodney Dangerfield, so give me respect.
Dope song. Shout out to them in Crush Groove, performing and everything else. That's what they were saying, even in Crush Groove. You know, they have in the movie Crush Groove, you remember they had got their own label, they had got their own record deal. And Rush was struggling, you know what I'm saying? They was over there recording, can you rock it like this? You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, doing their thing. You're Blind. Another rock guitar-led beat with a message for men and for women. Wearing the tightest jeans and shortest skirt, thinking you're cold chiller, looking like a jerk. Think Blow the Whistle 85. The moral of the story may not be clear, and the only way to catch it is to lend an ear. Go back and listen to it for yourself. Next is the third skip on the album. It's not funny. Comical? Yes. Did they show their trade-off rhyme styles? Yes. But like Talk Too Much, it had its place because what they were talking about was how not to be lame to the games that street hustlers play or make stupid mistakes losing your money and your job and everything. It's not funny, you know, when you leave the house without an umbrella and then it rains, you're an unhappy fellow, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's cool. But my job now, though, is to talk about this next song, though. Girl and Joe is a song that needs to be put in the Rap Hall of Fame. This is considered Crush Groove 3, although the other song came out first, I believe. But Crush Groove 3, Girl and Joe, it's the blueprint of how two rappers and a DJ can shine on the same song without overstepping each other's or stepping on each other's toes, though. No one out raps anybody. They shine the lights on themselves and on each other. But the best part comes when the three of the dopest verses ever recorded are done. I highlight these three because they were signature and they were cohesive. And it made you feel like you knew who Daryl was. Some at the top, but I'm on the tip. That's as high on the top as you can get. And you best believe I'll be on it. It also let you know who Joe was. When I'm the rapper with the mic, drop a caddy, not a bite. Drop a rhyme in your face, and that's your life. But don't stop there. Let the beats keep rocking and witness Jam Master Jay mix and scratch it up on not one, but two turntables at the same time. This right here, this is my opportunity to give Jay the DJ/producer of the year because he contributed on the producer, but as a DJ, Mixmaster Ice was dope. Don't get it twisted. But Jam Master Jay was just next level with it, and he had stand power, you know what I'm saying? To whereas, man, he showed it on that album. Not only had two beats going, two turntables, scratch with two turntables, and just worthy of DJ of the year. Shout out to Jam Master Jay. Now we get into top candidate for album of the year. LL Cool J Radio. It's a smash, and you know I can relate because I love my radio, just like he loved his. And if you saw him in Crush Groove, when he steps into the room to audition, even when Jam Master reaching in his coat to pull out a pistol and everything else, it just made it more believable when he said stuff like,
Don't touch that dial, I'll be upset. Might go into a big rip off your neck.
because you seen him, he was fearless. You know what I mean? Man, and then Cut Creator comes on with a scratch that just, you know, when you scratch the big mouth beat, pure dope, man, pure dope. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't the best song in the album. I'm gonna tell you what that is in just a minute. Next song was You Can't Dance, and that's a trip because I felt like he was talking about me. You know, when he said you go to your Can't Dance house, drive out in your Can't Dance car, you get your Can't Dance spot. Well, my father could dance, you know what I'm saying? But I can't dance. That's why I DJ. Period, point blank. You know what I mean? And LL, he was clowning, but he had bars on that song describing it so many different ways about the perils of a person who can't dance. You know what I'm saying? Then we get to Dear Yvette. On the heels of Roxanne came Dear Yvette, a lyrical illustration of a promiscuous high school senior who made it with the whole team. You know what I mean? How many remember the answer record Yvette's Revenge, though? You'll regret. You know, LL was like, man,
B-boys are hard on the boulevard. The reverend at the church said you was barred.
Yvette had a bad reputation, period, point blank. But then he flips the script and comes back on the next song, I Can Give You More. Let me ask you this quick question, though. What was the first rap song, first rap love song ever? I originally thought this to be the first rap love ballad when he said stuff like love takes its toll. But actually, Curtis Blow had a love song in like 80, 81. And Run DMC, if you listen to 30 Days, that's also like a love song too. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. But this one right here, his wordplay was impeccable. I mean, it's like borderline poetry on a Shakespeare level though. You know what I'm saying? I pour wine for two, even though it's just me. I try to reach you, but blind men don't see.
Your man is the devil, but he gave you a ring, so you believe he's so innocent. Angels sing.
He said your man is the devil, but he gave you a ring, so you believe you saw an innocent angel sing. Ooh, Talk about barred up. And he knew he came with it because he said, it's not Romeo and Juliet, it's me and you. You know what I'm saying? Ah, man. The next song, Dangerous, gets skipped. I think he just did a better job of paying homage to Cut Creator on radio and Rock the Bells, which is the next song. On side 2, this is the flow side. Rock the Bells is classic. What more can I say? This is a remix, though. A lot of people don't realize that. In the original version had him funking with MC Shan, and it's rumored that Shan actually hit him with a one-hit a quitter at a New York award show, though that has not been confirmed. Hold on. Yo.
What that is, boy?
What up, St. Eyes? Yo. What up, bro?
Man, I didn't know
What?
LL and MC Shan was on Drink Champs.
They met on Drink Champs?
Yep.
All right, let me check it out.
Man, for real.
And so when it was, and no, it's funny how that shit came about. Me and L, we was on this tour, and so at the end of the day, L came and said, "Yo, I got a record I want you to hear." So me and I'm geeked up. My Kango was swole like a. I went and I heard the joint, but I never pieced together at the time that he was playing me Rock the Bells. You dig what I'm saying? So after he played it, I'm like, my hat too big, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And it became, go ahead, look at Nori trying to set me up, trying to get me to spill the beans without no more.
They do be trying to get him drunk so they can tell everything, but here we go.
Celebrating you. Celebrating you tonight. We are celebrating you tonight.
Come on, get to it.
He played me that, and it was like I was so, like I said, I had a big Kango, yo, with a small head.
Right.
But it turned out to be Rock the Bells, and back then, we didn't steal anybody's rhymes. We didn't say anything. You know how it was. You know, you don't say nothing close. So when he was like, oh, but it wasn't him.
Yeah, he didn't know that.
Right, he didn't know it. He just knew that, yo, it was hot and blah, blah, blah. But Rick Rubin did it. But my MC, you rocked the bells, but you stole my beat. But so that was what it was. And now I'm going to say this. LL never responded.
He never responded.
Okay. So bottom line is, he felt like LL did take his beat, you know what I'm saying? But Rick Rubin is really the thief. And who knows the truth? Sounds like he could be right. But the thing about it is this. L8. How the youngsters say, LL went crazy on that beat. You know what I mean? He did his thing on that one. Next was I Need a Beat, one of my personal favorites on that album, man. This is the remix too. You know what I'm saying? And though it almost sounds the same, it's the echoes and the reverbs over the beats and the rhymes. You know, no shade of pun intended. But the echo made it better, which was original reason for the remix. It's supposed to be better than the original version, not to have 400 people get on there, but you know, I digress. Next song, That's a Lie. Russell Simmons telling story after story, 8 million of them to be exact. And it all made up by him, and LL narrates and tells of all the lies he's telling. It's ironic that Russell is on Def Jam's first rap album, and it's part of what set Def Jam off as one of the hottest labels of all time. Then we get into my favorite song on that, Yo Rock. Yo Rock is LL Cool J's declaration and my favorite song. And it's precarious for me because it felt like he was right there with me and I was on the scene or at the party with him. The momentum of the party can only increase. The design of this rhyme is a masterpiece. Wanna kick step to the physical beat and witness the force I'm about to release. Yo Rock. Let's talk about iconic intros. We talked about Houdini. Now the party didn't start till I walked in. And DJ Ron had one on Sucker MCs and then again on Rockbox. DMC has his own on King of Rock a year later in 1985. This is the second of LL Cool J's iconic intros. First being on Rock the Bells, LL Cool J. That was so dope that Cut Creator cut it up and sold it in 1987.
LL Cool J is hard. Cut Creator cut the record for me.
Dope. But back to the Rock when he said it was dedicated to his favorite street, I was locked in because I lived on my city's favorite street. His was Farmers Boulevard, and mine was Cutty.
Now I'ma dedicate this rhyme to my favorite street. Any other jam you hear, just disregard. This is the national anthem of the boulevard.
Now here's the thing about it. LL Cool J, I'm gonna give him Artist of the Year. I got to get LL Cool J Artist of the Year because of what he did, not only for Def Jam, but for the culture, period. He's the first solo rapper that went platinum, that sold a lot of music and really held it down on his own. You know, Curtis Blow had tried, and may have been a couple more of them, but L was, you know, back then. You understand what I'm saying? But he don't get Album of the Year, y'all, you know. I know y'all gonna hear it in the comments and everything else, but
well, I'm too short, baby, hear what I say.
Let me tell you about this album first before we make it official.
Don't stop.
Too Short, Don't Stop Rapping, dropped in 1985, but Too Short had been rapping since 1980. Let's get that clear, all right? The longest tenured rapper said on this album right here that he don't stop rapping. He comes in talking his talk, but what many of us didn't realize is that he would walk the walk. I'll explain that in a minute. Talking about who he was, what he did, and what he was about, and where he was from, introducing the world to the West.
Don't stop that rap. I'm Sir Too Short, the rapping man. I'm a cold MC, and I know I am. I'm the big time rapper from East Oakland, into music and making fans. I love young ladies who love my rhyme, cause what they say is right on time. The only MC with fresh hits is Sir Too Short. He never quits.
And representing us to the fullest.
Alifor, NIA, and a superstar. That's what it is, that's what I see. California life was made for me. Born and raised in the Golden State. MC rapper, and you know I'm great. Just coolin' out, acting shy. I got my mic and my rap.
The next song, Short Rap.
Don't stop.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just a title, it was a style. That braggadocious player field to where it was like fantasy rap met game and made history. You understand what I'm saying? Other rappers had fairy tales, but Short mixed that bass style in it.
So fresh. I like tenders, young and hot. You never hear Short say, baby, why not? I'm so too short, I'm so down. MC rapper from the Oakland town. You better get up, Short raps a song. It really ain't short, it's much too long. Cause I don't stop once I start. Short rap, what's that? Short rap is art.
Now, this next song, Girl, That's Your Life, this when it got real. Speaking of game, remember how Melly Mel and them dropped a message showing that what life was like in New York? Well, Too Short countered with a darker street narrative, one that follows a pimp and his prostitute and his pimp. You gotta listen to the song to understand what I'm saying. But he was caught in the grind of survival and addiction. This wasn't a rich man's high of snorting cocaine. It was a rise of a new drug and a reality it brought to the streets.
Since age 13, what have I seen? A lot of bass heads, straight coke fiends, snorting, puffing, that's the life. But it's all over when you hit that pipe.
Crack cocaine had just came around and it was mass produced in Oakland and it became an epidemic, seemed like overnight. And Short was there to detail about it, you know what I'm saying? The production was phenomenal. I don't know if you did it with a 4-track or an 8-track, but they used that thing. Shout out to Dean Hodges, who was the producer. I met Dean in the early 2000s. He was living in Richmond at the time, you know what I'm saying? And he had the greatest hits CD, because I thought, because the album was no longer in production, I thought I'd never have it again. I just had to go by the tapes, which I transferred. I was able to get onto a CD, and I would burn the CDs. So when Dean blessed me with a copy of it, the player years, I was juiced, to say the least. When he blessed me with that, I was juiced and couldn't wait to listen to it. I still own that CD to this day. Where is it at? Somewhere in my CD collection. But, we stream nowadays, so I listen to it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Girl, That's Your Life was a song, but then the next song is Female Funk. Now, I know y'all heard Freaky Tales before, but before Freaky Tales, there was Female Funk. Short stories about 7 different ladies rocking to the beat.
The third young tender that I pulled couldn't understand that Taurus the bull. Big time rapper, that's what I am. But in that funk, I'm Superman.
Man, Short was doing his thing way back then in 1985. This wasn't I can give you more kind of stuff. This was real, raw, pimpish, Bay Area, Too Short.
The next young tender down the line was just a fan who loved my rhyme. She saw me rolling so hard, recognized game and the star. I waste no time, so the story goes. I roll that freak like truth and verse, cause I'm a vet, not a punk. Sir Too Short, just rock that song.
Now, speaking of Too Short, this role right here made him the player of players. You know what I mean? Playboy Short is my nomination. Matter of fact, I'm going to give it the nod for Flow of the Year. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. This is my other favorite rap song of all time next to Rockbox. They change daily. Yesterday it was Rockbox. Today it's Playboy Short. Yin and Yang, number 1 and 1A. And they change, just on any given day. As soon as they hear boom, 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 it's an instant classic Bay Area OG part.
Hey, it's me, Short, the one and only. Spitting that rap to all my homies. You know about you, I know I'm a star. When I rap too good, I might take it too far. Had a whole damn party going wild, cause I don't stop rapping. That's my style. It's Too Short, baby. Rockin' that party. Got women like leather all over my body.
This one never gets old. This is Bay Area. This is Goals and Vogues. This is Fleetwood Broms and Cougars. Leaning with the gasoline, driving up and down the street. Maybe you're in a Stang, you're in a Benz, you're in your 5.0, riding down the strip, MacArthur Strip, Foothill Strip, Cutting Strip, Sonoma, 3rd Street. This was a soundtrack for the early street game. And every time we hear, we think about them good old days. Parking lot pimping at Silks or at the Candlelight, sleeping all day because you were out all night. This was the sound of the Bay. With that being said, I'm going to cut to the chase and tell y'all why this is the Flow of the Year. The song ain't nothing but a flow. For 6 minutes and 46 seconds of rap after rap after rap. And he flipped his voice and style a few times, something that Slick Rick and later DMX perfected. I talked about both of them a little earlier. But then on top of all that, it's prophetic. Oh yes, I am the true MC, rapping. Short predicted as the title of the album that he would not stop rapping. I'm on my way to the top. So much rapping, I'll never stop. And like the song title, this flow didn't stop, but he meant it on more than an album. He meant his career, and he sent a message out to the record labels, to the A&Rs, and to anyone else in the music business that thought they were doing something in the shiesty music game.
You got sucker MCs with your record deals. Most raps on wax just couldn't be real. But I found out soon enough. The word said rap was cleaning up. Big bank rolls keep coming through. But most MCs just couldn't be true. Cause the tracks ain't it. Dreaming about it. But you'll find out Too Short don't quit.
Here's why it's most impactful as well.
So Dean Hodges, 75 Girls, gave us the formula on how to manufacture and sell the independent records. I got that shit from Dean. Mm-hmm. And by the time it came around to what I did with Ted Bohannon, it was like I had the formula. So the first formula was $1.99, 3 Radio Shack tapes, selling for $5 a piece. The next formula was it cost you less than $1 to press up wax or a cassette. The distributor's gonna buy them for you, some for $4, and some you might could go get $5 out of, but always gonna get at least $4 from the distributor. So $1 get you $4, $1 get you $5. I know, yeah, that's damn sure enough to sell what you got and re-up again.
Right.
And have some pocket money and all kind of shit.
Right.
So the whole thing was I wrote on a piece of paper, one piece of paper, and it said $2,000 investment, $5,000 investment, $10,000 investment. And it said how I was gonna get the money back, how I was gonna get you your initial payment back, and how I was gonna share the profits with you. And it was literally something that, as a businessman, you would walk into a bank and try to get a loan but we didn't have nothing that would make happen. So that was what exactly we would do with a loan officer at a bank. You do it with a drug dealer. I went around the block, couple West Oakland niggas, couple East Oakland niggas, and was putting it out there like, man, we just needed the money to start it. And we had the blueprint. Like, how you know it's gonna work? We just did it. 75 girls. Look how much it's done. It's the same shit.
See, the East Coast had the machine behind them. Short and them had to get it on their own, paving the way for E40, Mac Dre, Jay-Z, and the list goes on and on. And the list is so long that many artists today feel that independent is the only way to go.
I don't stop rapping, just don't stop. Don't stop rapping, don't stop Too short, so fresh. I'll show you how the game comes from the West, cause you never ever knew it was going on until a brother like me put it in a song. And I'm always fresh, never the same. Just don't stop that vicious game. Don't stop.
There it is. Album of the year, guys that go to Too Short, Don't Stop Rapping. Again, my formula is this. First of all, a great album has to have like little or no skips. You understand what I'm saying? As far as Short Dog's album go, you had LL Cool J who had 10 songs on the album, right? But I didn't even mention I Want You. It was the last song on that album. And then I told you Dangerous wasn't all that good. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. 2 skips right there. You know what I'm saying? Short only had 5 songs on the album. But each of these songs is like 7 minutes or more. And they all dope. So it's basically he went 10 for 10 with that. You know what I mean? If you played baseball and you went 5 for 5 in a game, guess what? You're gonna get millions of dollars. Short talked about he wouldn't stop rapping way back then, and guess what? He is the longest tenured rapper who's still relevant to this day. LL can't say that. I love LL, but he can't say that. Check out Sir Too Short, the Freaky Tales Volume 1 album. Came out in 2025. Just came out. He just dropped a movie. He's still dropping songs. Blow the Whistle. The list goes on and on. Choosing. Shake That Monkey. Short just keep on reinventing himself and keep on going on and on. You know what I mean? So look, this is DJ Ron. Understand this. This is Classic Flow 1985. And by the time we get to 1986, hip-hop didn't even feel like it was underground anymore. It felt like the world finally caught up to the streets. You understand what I'm saying? But thanks for locking in. If you liked it and you made it this far, I got to give a shout out to you. You know what I mean? Make sure you like, you comment, subscribe, and share. Because you know I'm sharing and dropping knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? For the love of the game, though. You know what I mean? This has been Classic Flow, Episode 2, 1985, when the West begun. It's all about the mix, it's all about the culture, and it's all about the movement. Every beat tells a story, but it's the flow that keeps it going on. You just witnessed Classic Flow, the 2nd episode. The mix, the culture, the movement. Every beat tells a story, and the flow is how it goes.